Hello everybody, this is Shannon with Beads and Babble, back with you with another tutorial that I hope that you guys will enjoy. This is going to be a bracelet. I hope everybody had a really happy holiday, Christmas, and hopefully they have a great new year, which is coming up. Excited to get this year over with. I hope that you are having a great start to your week. So the bracelet we're going to be doing today is going to be similar to this one, which I did earlier. I have not finished this bracelet because I wanted to show you how to finish it on this bracelet, but I'll show you the steps to make it with these particular elements here. I'll put this to the side for right now. And what I have here are just two pairs of flat nose pliers to open and close a jump ring. Now this is an optional charm you can put on the bracelet. You don't even have to use it if you don't want to, but that's what the pliers are going to be used for today. Some sharp nippers or scissors for cutting the C-Lon, S-Lon cord, same cord, different manufacturers. This is the standard, which is 0.5 millimeters. It's a nylon cord, comes in a gazillion colors, so you can pick whatever color that you like to coordinate with the beads that you're going to use. You can also use waxed linen cord as well. Works just the same. It's just a little bit more tacky, and I find that it gathers dirt, which, you know, bracelets, they're on your wrist, you're moving around a lot. So this I find is a little bit cleaner, but it's up to you, however you'd like or whatever you have on hand. And then you're going to need some 1 millimeter round leather cord. This is going to basically be the backbone of the bracelet. I find that the 1 millimeter is nice because it's pliable, so it's comfortable to wear on the wrist, and it also holds up well against heavier beads if you want to incorporate them into your design. I chose this also because it's just a really nice size of a leather cord that you can use with seed beads as well, both 8 and 6/0 seed beads, which we will be using some 8/0 seed beads today. This also can be your color choice, whatever goes with your color scheme. And then we're going to need a shank button. This one is probably about a 1/2 inch, possibly a little bit more. You want the hole to be big enough that the cord will pass through, and this is small, 1 millimeter, so it doesn't have to have a huge shank on it. I just happen to have these, so I'm going to use this one, and I like the size of it, and I also very fond of turtles, so we're going to use that. And then I picked out a starfish charm, and this is an 8 millimeter open jump ring. And then I have here some faceted fire polished rondelle beads. They are 6 by 4 millimeter. You can also substitute a 6/0 seed bead for these, or any other bead that's in the 4 to 6 millimeter range. So, and you won't need too many of these. I think I used 14 on the pink bracelet, and I'll show you that these bracelets, I'm going to do a bracelet that's going to be size adjustable from 6 to 6.5, so I can wear it. And you'll make it however long you need it to be in order for you to enjoy wearing it, or whoever you're possibly going to gift it to. So, and then I have a macrame board. I find this really handy. It's not something you absolutely need, but it's nice because it has the measurements on the side, so you can actually, keep track of the length of the bracelet as you're making it on this. And they're pretty handy because you can stick stick the pins in to hold it, and I'll show you how to, how that's going to work here. This is a small macrame board. The large one is nice too for bigger projects, but I find this one works great for bracelets. And so I'm going to slide these beads off to the side here in this charm. And what we're going to do first is we're going to cut the cord. This is a black. Earlier I used a brown, like a dark brown with the pink. I just felt like that tone went better with the beads I selected. And I'm going to cut a 24-inch strand. And I'm going to use this ruler at the bottom of this bead mat because I think I said this, but I'm falling more and more in love with this bead mat as I use it. But it's very handy and it's non-slip, so it's great. So there is my 24. I'm just going to give it a nice clean cut, and then I'm done with that. So I'm going to set that over here. And then I'm going to double this cord. So the 2 cut ends I'm placing together. I'm pulling it down, and here is where I'm going to thread on the shank button. Just going to slide it through, bring it down here. So now the cord is in half with the shank button on the closed end, the loop in, and we're just going to simply tie a knot to hold the button on. I leave about 1/4 of an inch away from the shank with the knot, just because that makes it a little easier to push it through the closure at the end, the opposite end of the bracelet. Now you'll have something that is like this. So this is like a 12-inch 2-strand cord with your button attached here. Now you can put this, here in the slits here that hold, but I like to use these in order to lift the button up, and you just put the oops, can you see that? I'm sorry. The pin, the stainless pin, through the shank of the button too, so it'll hold it. You can use 2 if you want. Sometimes I'll use 2 just to get a little bit more of a good hold on it. All right, and the other end's going to go down here at the opposite end, and it's going to slide between these to hold it in place. And it is going to be lifted above, and you'll understand why this is kind of nice here shortly. So I'm going to put this to the side, and we're going to cut the nylon cord, and we're going to cut about 5 feet. I like to cut a little bit more than I need just to have it. It just makes it easier. So I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it doesn't have to be exact. You're going to have more than you need. Then you're going to snip it off with your snippers, and we'll put this here for a second. I'm going to do the same kind of with this one, just to kind of get roughly half here. And then I'm going to put this mat back over here so you can see what I'm doing. Now, we're going to take these ends. One's going to go under both leather cords, so we get basically half of the cord on either side. And then we're just going to tie a knot here. And this is just to hold it in place up here close. And we're going to push this up against the knotted leather cord. Give it a good firm tug. That'll hold it in place. So now we have the nylon cord on either side. And then I'm going to take this spool, and I'm just going to push it. Actually, I'm going to wait. I'll push it up once I get it a little bit there, and that helps hold the cord above the board as well. And then we're going to take some of our beads, some of these seed beads here, and we're going to pour them out on the mat here. You'll find that this project doesn't take a lot of beads either, or actually minimal tools really, which is kind of nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to kind of snip a point on each end of this nylon cord just to make it easier to go through the beads. So like this design, we are going to start off with 2 sets of square knots up here. Square knot is not difficult and it's so versatile. Like I was saying in one of my first videos, macrame is a very handy tool to learn for jewelry making. So it's a series, as simple as I can put it, as a series of P's and Q's. So we're going to start out with a P. So we're going to take it and we're going to cross it on top of the leather cord and under the other nylon cord. So you have this side over the cord and then under the other nylon cord. And then you're going to come underneath, holding the P out and bring it through. So now you kind of have like a fish eye here. And then you're going to bring it up and give it a nice firm tug. I have to get a zoom lens for this so you guys can see a little bit better. Now you're going to do a Q. So it's going to come over this way, over top the cord here, and under the other nylon cord. So you have that nice fisheye there. And then you're going to pull it down. So you're going to have something that looks like this. Okay, there's one set complete. So we're going to do a P over the leather, atop or under the other nylon, and then through the P, the loop of the P. And then you're going to tighten it down. Okay. And we're going to do a Q and then we'll be finished. And if you ever can't remember what, if you're on a P or a Q, what you'll want to look for is this little bump here on the side. So if you have the bump on that side, that is the side you will start on. So you're left off at a Q. So over top and under the other cord, and then this is going to go under the leather cord and through the loop of the Q. And then you're going to pull it snug. There you go. And instead of just tying like a overhand knot up there, I like starting off with a mag. I just think it looks cleaner. So now the fun begins here. So we're going to start with a 8/0 seed bead on each cord. And I'm just going to bring it up towards the leather there. This one too. And feel free to experiment. So we left off with a P. So we're going to go over, under, and you'll get to where the square knot is like second nature. It's like riding a bike, you never forget. And then you get in the rhythm and it just keeps going. So you're pulling it close, pushing the beads up as you go. So they look like that. And we're going to do a Q. And that'll bring it up close, snug. And what I did was a series, one more, of 3 between the two. You can make this longer or shorter if you choose. I did a series of 3, so I did a P, a Q, and a P. And then you can push it up as you go and just give it a nice firm tug, and it'll stay there. It'll stay put for you. And then now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put an 8/0, a fire polished bead, and another 8/0. That's going to go there. And then we're going to do the same on the other cord. Maybe what I'll do is I'll take like a bigger piece of cord or something to show that square knot a little bit more in depth so you could get it, because I know this is kind of, from what I'm seeing on the monitor, it's looking a little bit far away, so you might not be seeing the correct process of that. So I make sure these beads are up here. This one's a little more fiddly because you have more beads on the strand. So get that first square knot complete, and then just push those beads up there. So you want the beads to be above the knot on the cord. And you won't get them locked in until you do the second square knot here. And just make sure they're all pushed up there. And then you can go a little bit slower so you can get them into place, and then give it a good, nice firm tug, and that'll hold those beads into place for you against the leather cord. And then we're going to do a series of 3. One more. It's nice, and so you'll have a pattern that looks just like that. And what I did was repeat this pattern all the way down the cord. More here. It's alternated the sequence of beads. Boy, I hope everybody got through that cold front without much damage. I know that here the water went out on some of the counties here, and they're still struggling with getting it returned to normal. Just make sure you're safe. And I know they told us not to be out in the weather for more than 15 minutes. So it was chilly. Okay, and I'm going to do one more of the sequence of 3. And I'm sorry if you hear my puppies. They decided that they're going to start playing in the middle of this video. Like children. Just never know when the chaos is going to ensue. I'm sure people with animals know exactly what I'm talking about, and children for that matter. But like I said, this is purely a channel for instruction and the joy of learning the art of creating jewelry, handmade jewelry. And I'm not going to waste a bunch of time with editing videos when I can be doing other things. I'm still getting the teaching in. So, hey guys, shh. Rowdy puppies. Playing with a toy over there, tug of war. All right, so now the pattern, you can kind of see it taking shape here. And you can also, like I said, you can substitute this for a 6mm regular fire polished bead as well. Honestly, experiment and find out what you like. You can use bigger beads, smaller beads. If you got too big with the beads, you might want to move your cording up to 1.5mm round leather cord, just to have the stability to hold those beads into place and stuff. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this with the pink so you can see the, how we close off the end here. Okay, so once you have your beads, or actually in place, and in the leather bracelet, the bracelet itself sized up to where you want it. I'm stopping here about at 5 because I know that with the added length of the knotting and stuff, it's going to work out to where I need it to be for my wrist size. So you'll end up with your end here with your square knots, your sequence of 2 square knots, and you're going to take each cord and you're going to thread it up through the middle of the 2 leather cords. I'll show you here. So they're both in the center of the corded leather. Just like that. And then you can tie a knot, just an overhand knot is fine. And then both sets of cords, so all 4 cords will be incorporated into this knot here. Just an overhand knot. Take your time with this one so you can get it at the end here of the bracelet. Slowly push it down, cord and all. So you got a knot. Looks just like that. Just a simple overhand knot. That's going to keep the cords in place. At this point, you can cut these cords off, and also you can put a dab of glue if you want on this to keep it from slipping, if you're worried about that. I try to avoid the glue if I don't need it, just because it's kind of messy. But all right, and then so what you're going to do here, you can also leave a tail, and if you want some like dangles, and put some beads on this, so you just have a little extra frill there. But you don't have to. So we're going to keep it clean, and I'm just going to snip it off here. You can also, if you have a thread burner, you can burn this thread, and it actually keeps it from fraying, which is kind of nice. So you can take and slip the cord through the thread burner edge and go down here, and it just literally cuts it. Of course, it's stuck back to itself. There we go. And you can melt it down a little bit so it doesn't go anywhere. You don't have to put it through if you don't want to. You can just take it and basically slice through the thread. It really doesn't take much. These are very handy, but you can also just snip it off and take a lighter and, finish those off if you want to. So now you have just the leather cord and the buttons. So what we're going to do is we're going to size these closures off. So you'll put the button there to kind of get a rough idea. And give yourself a little bit of space so you can easily slide that button through. So it's about right there. And you can do your knot, and you can double check again to make sure where you tighten that knot down that your button's going to go through. You can actually leave the button there as you tighten down the knot so you get a good measurement. And you can double check. So make sure it goes through. There we go. And so you'll have it. It'll look like that. It's finished. Now, you can also put a second loop, closing loop here if you want to adjust it, because this is going to be at 6. It's going to vary between 6 and 6.5, which is where I wanted it. So if you wanted to maybe stretch it out to 7, you could put another loop in there, and then that way somebody with a 7-inch wrist could wear it as well. Okay, so now to finish off the ends, so they're pretty. I'm going to take an 8/0 seed bead, and you can actually knot it before so it stays in place, or you can let it where it just slides. So if you want to go, say you want the dangle to be about, let's see, about an 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch down. So put your first knot there, add your bead, and that happens to be an 8/0 seed bead, and then do another overhand knot. So you have something that looks like that at the end. Get your leather tight. Do the same thing over here on this one. You also do not have to do this. You can just cut it off at the end of your securing button loop closure. You just want it to be more of a clean, minimalistic ending, closure end. You can just cut it off there. I'm going to add some little tails here. And then you just go down. And once you got that where you want it, just get those knots in the cord and up against the bead. So you'll have something that looks like that now. So, and then you can take your, since this is such thin cord, you can actually use the scissors to cut it. So now keep in mind, if you need a larger bracelet, you're going to need more than the 24 inches of cord. I just knew from my size what I usually wear. So if you need to add, say you want a 7-inch bracelet, I would add an additional 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches to the leather cord. So now you have this finished bracelet. You can slide the button through the leather loop closure, and you have a very pretty bracelet with minimal beads, minimal tools. You can change up the colors however you like, and they're very comfortable to wear. And you can stack. So you can stack, these are stackable, along with, you could stack it with stretch bracelets, and more of these bracelets. If you want to make a series of these, you could. But yeah, it's actually very comfortable to wear. Sometimes a little bit of a struggle to get on because, but yeah, you can, nice comfortable bracelet to wear. See if I can get this on by myself. Usually I have my husband help me. Oh, look at that. So now you have a nice leather bead and macrame knot bracelet. Now, if you wanted to go a little bit more, I don't know, I guess, frilly, you can add a charm. And that is what the jump ring and charm was for. This is like an 8-inch jump ring. And we're just going to open it up. And when you open up jump rings, you want to twist, not pull apart, because you just weaken the middle when you do that. So you're going to open it up like that. Sorry, pixelated there for a second. Okay. Now, if you want to add the charm, you can. I wouldn't add it to the button side. You'll want to add it to this side here. And I usually add it behind the loop closure, and I try to go between the two leather. You can go over, I mean, you could go over both, but I feel like it would just slide over the knot, but it might not here in this case. But you can also put the charm along the bracelet itself wherever you might want it. I mean, honestly, just depends on where you want it. And I'm going to get this through this part of it. There we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm pushing it through the two leather cords, and then I'm going to put the charm on, and then I'm going to close the jump ring. And make sure when you put the charm on, if you have a charm that only has one side that is detailed, then you'll want to make sure that you oriented it correctly, but this one is detailed on both sides the same, so it really didn't matter. So, and you have your little charm there at the end. So, and then you can, like I said, you can go over both and do the charm where it's actually around all the cords. But I just put it through, keeps it in kind of place so it doesn't become too fiddly on the wrist. But yeah, experiment with that if you want. But that is how you make this simple yet cute bracelet. Really, really fun to make. You can make it in so many different color combinations, and they make great gifts. Also, wear casual. You can make put crystals on here if you want to get more glitzy. But there's a lot you can do with this simple technique. And like I said, macrame knot is a very, very fun knot to learn, and you can do so much with it. And I will probably put up a short video with a larger cord to demonstrate that macrame knot a little bit better. I noticed on here that it wasn't, it was so far away that I think you guys are going to struggle with seeing what I was doing with it. But let me know in the comments if that is something that you guys were struggling with, and then I will put up a short video of just simply how to do the macrame square knot. So that I think will do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the channel, and I will continue to put content up. And I hope that at some point I'll get more comments so I can get some recommendations on what you want to see. But until then, I hope you guys have a great new year.